Hello, on this episode of The Average Tabletop Gamers, and we're looking at some tokens and dial sets from Art of War Studios. Hello, it is Sven here, and as I said there, I'm going to be looking at some tokens and dials. So, if you've been following along with my Death Guard blog, you'll know that I've been starting to play 40k again. You know, I've been using the traditional methods of marking wounds and things like that using dice. And the problem is, as always, dice are prone to getting knocked over or moved, or they're just fiddly on the battlefield trying to reach into a base in the middle of a battle to turn a dice over. So we've started doing a few things. So, like for tracking victory points and command points, we started using some whiteboards. You know, rather than having dice at the side of the table, we've been, or a piece of paper to note the victory points. We've had some whiteboards and things like that, but I kind of wanted something that was a little bit fancier, a little bit easier to use. And Gary put me onto Art of War Studios, in particular a tracker that they do. So I've got a couple of products from them which I'm going to be using in my 40k games. I think it's going to help with visibility, help with management of the game, and again just to make it a bit easier to track things in the game so that we're not getting confused over which dice is which, if it fell off, what it was on, etc. So let's get a look at the products first. So the first thing I've got here is a command tracker. So this command tracker is, so it's all laser cut acrylic, and it's magnetized, and if I flip it over, you'll see on the back you've got a number of dials. And I say these are all just attached via magnets. And what's nice is that on the front you'll see that where the dials line up, you can see the actual values through. And you'll see here that this particular tracker, it's got a space for command points. It's got a primary objective victory points, 3 secondary objective victory points. 3 secondary points and a secondary objective total, as well as a turn counter. It's available in a range of different colours, but you also get, and I'll just split these up, a number of these objective name tags. And again, these are also magnetized. So let's say my secondary objective was engaging all fronts, but then I also had grind them down. I can attach them there so I know exactly which set of victory points I'm tracking for which objective. And the fact they're magnetized just means it's really nice, you know, there's a nice action on them. It's easy to pack away, it's easy to store. So that's the first one, the command tracker. I also picked up a set of dials. So you can see here for these dials, what you've got is, again, same construction, magnetic, and you've got 3 big dials numbered 1 to 16, 4 small dials numbered 1 to 10, and then you've got this dial here which is like a multi-part dial which you could use for something like a victory point, so it's going to let you go up to 59 or 60, I guess. And again, all magnetic construction and available in a range of different colours. And if you go to the Art of War Studios website, you'll see the range of colours they do. They have it against all of their token sets like this. And the last thing I picked up was a ruler set. So these are those fancy measuring devices that came where they're marked in 1, 2, 3, 6 and 9-inch sides. And then that also comes with 3 of the dials which you can use for marking wounds on your various different models. Again, these dials are magnetic, and as you see, that's a solid acrylic ruler. So when you get these, they will come like this, so they're still on their sprues, they're still in the frames. So I've got a couple of the command trackers and things, so you'll see there that they are on the frames. And what you'll find is there's a protective paper on the front, And there's also like a peel away plastic backing. So you will have to punch these out, and you will have to take the paper off. Getting the paper off was a little bit fiddly. So there's a couple ways you can do that. You can either soak it in water, which will probably help pull it off. What I did was I had a wooden, like a cocktail stick or a toothpick, and I just used that to kind of tease away the bits of paper. It'll come off quite easily, and I just picked it off, and it was quite mindful really. Sat there doing that, and I say the other piece is the same, so the actual main tracker is exactly the same. So what you will see as well, as what you will notice, is when you first take the plastic off these, where I'll show you on the ruler, where I've got the white markings in there, these aren't set up with that marking in them by default. That's something you've got to apply yourself. So there is on the website a couple of guides to doing this. So you could leave the paper on and then just put some paint, just follow the lines around with some paint, and you'll find when you take the paper off, the paint will be left in the lines and nowhere else. Or you can do what I did, which is the other recommended method, and thanks to Gary for dropping off a pack of white Crayolas for me. If you get a white crayon, and all you do is, once you've taken all the paper and backing off and give these a bit of a wipe, just scribble over them with the crayon, and then get like a tea towel, a cloth, something like that, like, some kind of polishing cloth, and just give it a rub. And what you'll find is it'll take all the surface off, it'll leave the white crayon in the indentations, and it'll give you a decent look on it. Again, I just had a night in front of the telly just with a white crayon and a piece of an old tea towel filling these in, and it was quite straightforward once I got them done. So they do come with the required magnets that you need. So you do get a stick of magnets that you need to fix them together. So if you're lucky, there will be just push fits. So all of the ones that I got, with the exception of the ones in the 3 dials that came in the ruler, there was enough resistance that I was able to push the magnets in I just used the back of an old paintbrush, to be fair, just to push down on them and get them like lined up, and they seem to be in there like a decent amount of grip. With these ones that came with the ruler set, the holes were just slightly bigger, so what I ended up doing was just putting a dab of super glue in there and setting them. Obviously, when you're working with magnets, make sure you check your polarity to make sure that they're all the same way, and I did that across all of my dials, so that no matter which dials I use, they're all the same. How much are these going to set you back? So for the command tracker, which is quite a substantial amount of acrylic, considering all the dials, the front piece, and then of course all of your I don't know how many there is. I think there's about 19 or 20 of the objective tags. So they were £20. That was $19.99 from Art of War Studios. The dial set, so the 3 dials, and so the 3 big dials, 4 small dials, and the 0 to 59 dial, I think it was £10.99. Yeah, that was £10.99 for that one. And the ruler set was $4.99, but it was in the clearance, so there's only limited numbers of, like, limited colour sets of those available, and I think they'll sell soon, so make sure if you're going to get those, you jump in there and get those soon. It is a bit of luxury to have these for the game, when you can just use a notepad or a whiteboard or some dice, but as I say, for me as a player, having that little dial that I can put down on a base, for me is a lot better than having a dice there which I get knocked over, especially when you've got, like, say, a model with more than 10 wounds. When I start using Mortarion, I don't want to be stacking loads of little dice on his base. I don't want to be putting a D20 on his base, because a D20, the moment I try and move the model, it's going to roll away. Whereas something like this is going to stay there. I could even put some magnets in the bases, so this would then be magnetised to the base. So again, there's an option with that to do that. as I say, I like stuff like this, so for me these are well worth the pennies. As I say, I've seen similar kind of token sets and dial sets just in plain MDF for about the same price, and these just look so much better, especially, you know, when they're etched with like the little winged skull logos and things like that, and you've got some of the imagery of the 40k universe on there. I think it just adds to the actual the feel of the game when you're playing it. So as I say, for me, thumbs up, and I'm looking forward to using these in a game. I just think for the management of the victory points, command points, all that kind of stuff, it's going to save a lot of clutter on the side of the table just having that command tracker, as well as reminding me which objectives I've got without needing to scribble it down on a poster or a me army list piece of paper or whatever. So I'll put the links below to these sets that I've got, as well as the other stuff you can see that Art of War do. They don't just do templates and things for 40k. They've got a whole range of games and systems, as well as terrain pieces that they do games for, so go and check them out. So I'll put the links below. I think if it's your first order, you can get 10% off. So when you go on the website, there'll probably be a pop-up. I think that'll give you, if you sign up to the newsletter, you get a 10% discount code to use for your first order. So if you're going to buy a few of the trackers together, it's well worth doing that. It kind of gets you one of the ruler sets for free, essentially. So yeah, go and check them out. As I say, I'll be using them. So you'll see these when we're playing games, when we take pictures. You'll see these from now on in the game. Don't forget to give us a like, share and a subscribe. Hit the notify bell down below there to keep up to date with whenever we post new videos to the channel. And as I say, go and check out Art of War Studios, as well as checking out our own social medias on Facebook, Twitter and of course Instagram. And we'll see you very soon for the next one.